This episode of the Demonic Compendium contains spoilers for the following games. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to a sopping wet new episode of the Demonic Compendium, the show where I discuss the mythology, design, and game history of your favorite Megami Tensei demons. The rainy season is still upon us, and I need to blame someone for that, so put on those flood pants and hope everything comes up Millhouse, because today, we are talking about Sui-Ki. Sui-Ki is a monstrous Oni from Japanese mythology. True to his name, which more or less translates as water demon, he has the ability to cause powerful floods whenever he feels like it. Alongside three other Oni known as Kinki, Fuki, and Ongyoki, Sui-Ki was an elemental servant of the powerful sorcerer Fujiwara no Chikata during the Heian period, which lasted about 400 years from around 700 to roughly 1100. Sui-Ki used his powers to bring about rain and make things generally miserable for folks, but he was eventually defeated and expelled by a poet named Kinotomo. He recited a poem that forced the Oni to retreat. It went a little something like this. There once was an Oni from Nantucket, whose all things, whether grass or tree, are ruled by the Emperor, and not even a devil can turn his back to the Emperor and live in this land. I liked mine better. Like many stories of epic battles and historical folklore, the tale of the four Oni and their defeat at the hands of Kinotomo is found in the Taiheki, a 14th century Japanese text spanning decades. Sui-Ki's Compendium entry from Persona 5 refers to him as one of the four Oni controlled by Fujiwara no Chikata. It can cause floods with the swing of its arms. In the Taiheki, Kinotomo expelled the Oni by reading a Japanese poem. Design-wise, Kaneko had something very simple and very special in mind when creating not just Sui-Ki, but all four of the Oni, and that was the rubber suits you'd see on tokusatsu shows, such as Kamen Rider or Ultraman. It is really easy to picture any of these designs appearing as a sort of monster of the week, and the designs were created with the idea that there could be a stunt person lumbering around inside that costume. Sui-Ki specifically was based on the famous Japanese yokai, the Kappa. This is evident in his long, wet black hair, and the peculiar adornment atop his head is clearly meant to represent the Kappa's flower that fills up with water. The texture on Sui-Ki's skin definitely gives the appearance of rippling water, and I'd be lying if I said his color scheme didn't make me think of the Grimer line of Pokemon, though that's most likely a coincidence. And unlike most demons in the franchise, that's it. Sui-Ki got his first and only design in the early 2000s with Nocturne, and he's kept that look for nearly 20 years now with no deviation. The tokusatsu inspiration has served this particular group of demons well, Sui-Ki included. As far as game history goes, well, before I get to that, you may be wondering why I chose to talk about Sui-Ki this month, and the answer to that is pretty simple. It's Saints-tember, the month when I talk about the Saints Row series, and Sui-Ki is purple-ish. But we're also just a handful of weeks away from the release of Shin Megami Tensei 5, and I've been trying, and probably failing, to avoid discussing demons that might play an interesting role in this long-awaited title since the release date was confirmed for us back in June. The reason why I feel as though Sui-Ki is a safe demon for me to discuss at this time is that he generally doesn't have many roles unique to himself, and so almost anything I'm going to say in this part of the video would also apply to one of his three cohorts. So in the event that Sui-Ki does have a big role in Shin Megami Tensei 5, it'll probably be connected in some way to one of the other Oni, so I can just call back to this episode if I ever cover one of the others down the road. In fact, as of the time of making this video, Sui-Ki is the only one of the four Oni who has yet to be featured in Atlus's Shin Megami Tensei 5 daily demon videos. I'm so smart and clever. Oh, right, and they also might get added to D2 down the road, which will basically be the same deal. Alright, but now let's talk about Sui-Ki specifically. He made his debut in Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne and can be fought in the dark tunnels underneath Ikebukuro. Of course, Sui-Ki will only attack the Demi-Fiend if he pretends to be a big bubble-blowing baby, and defeating him in these tunnels will unlock him for fusion. Sui-Ki makes a comeback in Shin Megami Tensei 4 and has his own domain in Eastern Shinjuku, and must be defeated for the quest Bring Back Wine. A trio of Sui-Ki also appear as a scripted fight on board the abandoned cruise ship in Digital Devil Saga, as members of the Brutes who must be defeated in order to press onward. Sui-Ki has popped up a handful of times in the Persona series, appearing as a member of the Moon Arcana, possibly in reference to the moon controlling the tides. In Persona 4, one minor thing I found interesting is that Sui-Ki already had his own idle pose and such from previous games, but for some reason in this title they gave him the same idle animation as a regular Oni where he's wiping his mouth with his forearm. Sui-Ki plays a noticeably larger role in Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal. For starters, he's one of the only demons to have differing shadow names between the two versions, having the name Floodbringer Demon in Persona 5 and Raging Water Demon in Royal. Sui-Ki appears prominently as the head demon fought when Makoto Nijima first awakens to her persona, Johanna, in Junya Kaneshiro's palace. Some of the other Oni are also fought as mini-bosses throughout this palace, but I'll only mention Sui-Ki as fought again in order to get the left key needed to proceed into the depths of the bank, and fought one more time as one of the underlings of Kinki before the Phantom Thieves can get onto the elevator. While having his fair share of roles throughout the franchise and being an important part of the team, Sui-Ki is generally seen at the bottom of the hierarchy here, with the other three Oni being a bit more popular or having grander roles throughout the franchise. Heck, this Twitter poll I made asking people who their favorite was had our flood-based friend at the very bottom. And so there you have it, Sui-Ki, the wet and wily, water-worn warrior wildly waving wumbo weaponry. Did I leave out something you thought was important? Was I just plain wrong about something? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to let me know who you'd like to see me talk about in future episodes. That's going to do it for this episode of the Demonic Compendium, and I'll see you next time. But be careful while you rest that a demon doesn't take over your body.